Well, the SCO's important statement today, SCO strongly condemning terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, saying that double standards in the fight against terrorism are completely unacceptable. In fact, the SCO has also called on the international community to combat terrorism, including cross-border movement of terrorists. What they've said is also attempts to use terrorist, separatist and extremist groups for mercenary purposes is not acceptable. They have condemned all forms of terrorists, and this is a big win for India because the member states have strongly condemned the terrorist attack in Pahalgam on the 22nd of April, specifically naming Pahalgam while also expressing their deepest sympathy and condolences to the families of those who have their relatives dead and also those who got injured. They've said that perpetrators and conspirators, organizers and sponsors of these attacks should be brought to justice.
अलगाववाद और अतिवाद बड़ी चुनौतियां हैं। आतंकवाद सिर्फ किसी देश की सुरक्षा ही नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता के लिए एक साझा चुनौती है। कोई देश, कोई समाज, कोई नागरिक अपने आप को इससे सुरक्षित नहीं समझ सकता। इसलिए आतंकवाद से लड़ाई में भारत ने एकजुटता पर बल दिया। इसमें एससीओ रेट्स की बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रही। इस वर्ष भारत ने जॉइंट इंफॉर्मेशन ऑपरेशन को लीड करते हुए अल-कायदा और इससे जुड़े आतंकी संगठनों से लड़ने का इनिशिएटिव किया। हमने रेडिकलाइजेशन के विरुद्ध समन्वय बढ़ाने और मिलकर कदम उठाने का भी प्रस्ताव रखा। टेरर फाइनेंसिंग के खिलाफ आवाज उठाई। इसमें मेरे समर्थन के लिए मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। एक्सेलेंसी, भारत पिछले 4 दशकों से निर्मम आतंकवाद का दंश झेल रहा है। कितनी ही माताओं ने अपने बच्चे खोए और कितने बच्चे अनाथ हो गए। हाल ही में हमने पहलगाम में टेररिज्म का बहुत ही घिनौना रूप देखा। यह हमला केवल भारत की अंतरात्मा पर ही आघात नहीं था, यह मानवता में विश्वास रखने वाले हर देश, हर व्यक्ति को खुली चुनौती थी। ऐसे में प्रश्न उठना स्वाभाविक है, क्या कुछ देशों द्वारा आतंकवाद का खुलेआम समर्थन हमें स्वीकार्य हो सकता है? एक्सेलेंसी, हमें स्पष्ट रूप से और एक स्वर में कहना होगा कि आतंकवाद पर कोई भी डबल स्टैंडर्ड स्वीकार्य नहीं होंगे। हमें मिलकर आतंकवाद का हर रंग में, हर रूप में विरोध करना, ये मानवता के प्रति हमारा दायित्व है।
One of the key aspects of the SCO summit here in Tianjin has been Prime Minister Modi's bilateral with Russian President Vladimir Putin. 48 hours prior to this bilateral is when President Zelensky had spoken to Prime Minister Modi about finding and identifying ways to be able to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It also came just 5 days after Donald Trump's tariffs were increased to 50%. The additional 25% kicked in on the 27th of August. And after that is when this meeting was taking place. There were bonhomie, there were warm greetings, there were hugs, there were smiles, and there was clearly a bond and a rapport that the two leaders exchanged, and that was on display. Sources say that the two leaders spent about 45 minutes in the car, which the two of them traveled in together, before they actually met with the delegation, and the entire delegation level discussions took place, which had both the Indian and Russian officials on the table. Several issues were discussed. Now, this is a relationship, viewers, unlike the one that the Prime Minister Modi had the previous bilateral, which was with China, which was about cautious optimism, which was about expectation, which were very tempered, with very little progress likely to take place on contentious issues, particularly border and China's support for Pakistan. None of that was there as far as the Russia-India bilateral is concerned. There was a lot of optimism, a lot of expectation, and likelihood that the relationship would cover a gamut of issues, from trade to oil to energy to Donald Trump's tariffs that do have an impact in terms of the India-Washington and US relationship, and lastly to defense as well. And all that is likely to have featured with the two leaders sharing more time personally as well as also through the delegation level discussions. Energy security, trade, economic, all that aspects were discussed, and beyond that there is an expectation that defense cooperation, defense purchases may also get a fresh momentum in the backdrop of very significant headwinds coming in as far as the India-US relationship is concerned. All in all, beyond the optics, there is expectation that a lot of movement forward happened, including Prime Minister Modi speaking about the prospect of finding a way to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict. India may not be a stakeholder, but it is most certainly a player in ending one of the longest wars that have taken place since the Second World War. In Tianjin, for NDTV, this is Gauri Dwivedi.